Welcome to Photographic Solutions, the CIDM 3312 final project of Douglas L. Holman and Jonathan Rios. Let's go to the homepage of the website. This is the homepage that users will be greeted by whenever they log on to the website. This is a photograph sharing and for future incarnations photograph selling website that allows users to preview images and then also purchase them at a later date. Now if we go to the gallery, we can see that there's a variety of galleries. However, we have hit a time crunch and have been unable to get the galleries to pull from the database, so they're at this point in time empty. However, if we go to the recent pictures, we are able to see pictures that users have uploaded to the site. At least it'll have the last 25 available pictures. Now, in order to upload a picture, you have to be a registered user, which they can log in here, or they can press on this wonderful hyperlink, go to the registration, fill out the information. We shall call this guy test user at test.com. Now, there is validation at work here, two types, one to make sure that the passwords match and the other one to make sure that the password is of a certain length. So we'll see if the test will just work as a test password. Add test1 as our confirm to see both errors. Now the stars say, hey, there's something up, but if we go to create account, it stops the user, tells them password must be so long with so many variables, and that the usernames must match. So we're going to call the password test3312 exclamation, capital T on the test, and as you can see, still something is not right. There we go. So now we've created the user, we can see this feature has changed. This actually gives the site kind of a breath of life to it, because you are able to see how many users are online at a time. And we can also go to the upload pictures. So when we go to upload picture and press browse, it's going to bring us to a file upload control, which allows us to search our file system for images. These tulips look lovely. Then we can insert a description to it. And then we can select which gallery to upload to. Tulips, nature, will add to nature. Then if we go to recent pictures, we can see that the tulips is now on the site. The way the pictures are ordered, they're pulled from the database, sorted in descending order, and then we're selecting the top 25, so this would be the very last, second to last, third to last, fourth from last, all the way down to our first image right here. Now, if we log out, it shows us online. However, this will stay on. It'll give a number for about 5 minutes before changing that number to 0. That way, even if there's no users using the site, the last active users within the 5 minutes will still be there in a ghost fashion to greet new users as they come on the site. So it gives the site a breath of life. Now let's go look at our code. So as we can see, we come up to a image of the database. If I run the query again to get all table data, let's do that again, show table data. So we had 7 images in the site, now we have 10. So we've got the tulips, test picture from the laptop, and you can see the user ID of who uploaded them, the gallery ID of where the gallery is located. So in the future, you would be able to pull those images from the gallery and populate those other gallery sub-galleries. A description. Images are in binary data. Since this has the purpose of selling pictures, it's best to store them on a database where there is more difficulty accessing them from a external point and keeping the photographer owner's safe in the regards of they're able to sell their work without it getting out and being used without their consent. Now, over the rubric, we have a default ASP page, which is the home page that you're greeted by. We have a master page used in the master pages folder, photogsolutions.master. The C# code for the site is commented. One example is in the gallery home. If we go to the code behind page, which those pages that need code behind have them, those that don't, they're removed. We can see that our code is commented to say this is what it's doing, and then kind of a comment that says what this is going to. Here we have a kind of a redirect for the gallery home. Switches on the link ID, so when we push on the button, the image button has an ID, which is a string variable in nature, which we can switch upon, and then if we happen to have an error, it just redirects them back to the home page where they can hopefully retry that. Again, for the image buttons, there was not one selected as a primary due to the fact that once you go on this site and to this location, the user is going to want to select the best one, and in my mindset it's best to leave it alone. That way, in case the user accidentally presses something, they're not automatically sent to a location that differs from where they were wanting to go. Now we can also see that the number of users online has dropped to 0, so that shows that with nobody logged in this site besides myself, the site is dynamic in a sense. Now if we go back to the code, we have an external style sheet, and our style sheets has the style for the master page and everything that's needed. It also includes a water image and image watermark in case of I need to go and show a watermark over the image. Now this is a CSS based watermark, so it's really an image over an image of the site. However, with the images being stored in the database, it's extremely difficult to pull them from the database, even going from the recent users, or the recent pictures uploaded by users. If we were to right click on one of these and say view image, it gives us a bunch of gibberish, and that's because we're using a dynamic handler to pull from the from the database housing these. So if we go back and come here, we can actually look at that control under users control. Originally was intending for the image upload control to be a dynamic user control. However, at this point in time, it was more functional to leave it as an ASP page itself. And if we look at the dynamic image handler, it creates a process request which grabs the ID of the image from the recent pictures ASP page. It uses the SQL data source to pull the image from the connection string that connects to the database we're using. We went with the ASP.NET database that's created when when the login controls are used. This allowed for us to link our images to users controls, so that whenever our user profile is fully fleshed out, you'd be able to pull images just uploaded by the user. And then it returns the data view, which is a binary write of that image based upon what ID is there. Close out a couple of these. Now we've got a variety of controls. We've got data listing. We've got good places actually on the website just to look at these. So here we have a login user control. On the home page, we have labels and text showing off. Here's a checkbox to remember the user. So if you log out, or not log out of the page, but close the site and then come back to the site at a later point, it would still remember you. On the user upload picture site, I'll log in with my administrator ID. We have button controls, that's a file upload control. We've got a data list, or drop-down list that gives us values. With the register, we have the regular expression validation as well as the compare and validation, and the username and password. If it doesn't belong to something, it just says your login attempt was not successful, please try again. So there's validation against the database for that. Like I said, there are portions of the site that we were unable to get completed. The cart is one of them. Filling out the user profile once the user is logged in is another. Fortunately, nothing there, as well as the subgalleries of nature, urban, portrait, and miscellaneous. That, again, is our 3312 final project for Douglas Holman and Jonathan Rios. We hope you enjoyed it and hope you come check out our photographic solutions. Thank you.